Hello and welcome to the Knife Magazine YouTube channel. Today we are previewing the August 2022 edition of Knife Magazine. Now, Knife Magazine is not available at your local bookstore or supermarket or similar outlet. The only way you can get a copy of Knife Magazine is to purchase a subscription or an online subscription through an online premium membership at knifemagazine.com. We are not available in the bookstores like other publications, similarly titled even, like Knives Illustrated. And you can see quite readily the difference between the Knife Magazine cover and the cover of Knives Illustrated, as well as the fact that Knife Magazine is 50% larger than a standard magazine. We are not like this sort of publication. We are entirely independent and produced for knife enthusiasts, not your average person walking through the supermarket. The August 2022 edition of Knife Magazine has a cover story on James L. Batson Jr. Dr. Batson is retired from knife making now, but has had a tremendous impact on knife making, on interest in historical knives, particularly Bowie knives. He's done a great deal of writing, several books. He's a member of the Blade Magazine Cutlery Hall of Fame and a member of the American Bladesmith Society Hall of Fame, and an influence and an inspiration to many of us, including myself. Thanks as always to our many advertisers that make the publication of Knife Magazine possible. Case, Flex Cut, and many others, as you will see as we continue through here. Articles this month: the Batson story, a nice piece by Scott Decker, A Texas Toothpick Becomes a Fisherman, a piece on Spyderco Kikuchi by Frank Carl, an interesting article by Matthew Parkinson from his regular column, Turning the World to Dust, and a piece on Canadian knife maker John Wilson, who worked for Bob Loveless towards the end of his career. A story on Dr. Batson runs for many pages. It's really a retrospective of his career and touches on many aspects of what he has done over the years and many different types of knives that he has made. A little bonus for our YouTube viewers: these two knives on this page are not pictured in their entirety in the magazine. But here's one of them. And here is the other. We're collectors too, and fans of Dr. Batson's. We'll note the interesting difference in the logos, Artsmith and Bladesmith. I think the Artsmith knives are older, but I never have asked him about it. I will have to do so. Jim, oh wait, this one is pictured in the article. Forgot about that. This shows over the years Jim's influences with Skagel knives. Here he's pictured with his longtime friend Dr. Lucy. His origins. He came from blacksmithing, and so these knives heavily influenced by blacksmith work were among his early pieces. Towards the end of his career, he became very interested in knives of Texas ABS Hall of Fame member Clyde Fisher, who was a fascinating fellow, a pioneering knife maker, and Jim wrote a book about Clyde Fisher and how to make knives in Clyde's style. Here's an early Damascus knife made by Batson with the handle carved by Paul Grissenmeyer. I think we may have some other photos in here of his work. Jim has had a passion for antique Bowie knives for a long time, and many of the knives that he's produced over the years are influenced by antique Bowie knives. And he's had many contributions to the history of antique Bowie knives in researching what the history was. He's written books on James Bowie and the sandbar fight, on James Black and his coffin handle Bowie knives. Those books are available from us now. I think there are a couple of his books that are out of print, but all of the other books that he's produced are available from us at Knife Magazine, knifemagazine.com. And Custa, another advertiser, J. Bruce Voiles Auctioneers, Blacksmith's Depot. Here's the beginning of the piece on Texas toothpicks and how the Texas toothpick pattern evolved into being a fish knife. Very interesting article by Scott Decker. You can see it shows examples from recent history here and antique knives and the original Remington bullets here, and even some customs toward the end. Spyderco, Buckeye Engraving, Arizona Custom, thanks to all of them. And Daniel Keown, which I've been looking for him today, trying to figure out where he's based, and wherever you are, we're looking for you. Every month we publish a 2-page column called What Is It by Bernard Levine, who is a Cutlery Hall of Famer. Bernard has been writing this column first for Knife World and now for us since 1978, and it just deals with different aspects of cutlery history. People may write in questions, or he may just find something he's interested in and write about it. Spyderco Zakuchi design recently came out. A review of it by Frank Carl. Smoky Mountain Knife Works and Blue Ridge Knives knife shows like the Mount Vernon show and the Wolverine Knife Collector show. Protec bi-monthly column by Matthew Parkinson. Matthew is a frequent instructor at various schools teaching aspects of bladesmithing, and he writes this bi-monthly column for us. In this particular case, he's discussing how he likes to look to the past for design inspiration on things, and discusses how that's worked out for him and some of his friends, including Mace Vitale, who recently won an award. This is a knife that Matthew won an award for. We have the bi-monthly contribution from the American Bladesmith Society, which talks about the award winners at the Blade Show and always discusses what's going on with the ABS. Every month we have a center spread called Artistry and Knives, which is basically a full-size knife poster, custom knife poster that can easily be removed and stuck on your wall. Ta-da! Knife poster. Knife News is a monthly feature. Here we discuss some of the recent releases, but we also discuss any other news of the knife industry that might be worth discussing. Now, this article was proposed by a well-known knife maker who said, you really should do a piece on this fella in Canada. He's a really interesting guy. John Wilson, as you can see, makes beautiful knives, but he learned how to make knives while working in Bob Lovelace's shop. He struck up a friendship with Lovelace, and it eventually led to him being employed by Lovelace, and he worked very closely with Jim Merritt for years, and this sort of tells his story, shows examples of his work, and examples of his views of his workshop, so you can sort of see how he does knives and what inspires him. Now, this article was going to get into some great detail on Lovelace and how Lovelace influenced him and other people, and actually we're going to spin that off into an entirely different article. Thanks to Boker and White River, have been great supporters of what we've done over the years. Each month we have a column from Knife Rights and a column from the American Knife and Tool Institute, are both great supporters of the knife community and make it possible for us to, retain our knife rights and, carry things like switchblades, to own things like switchblades. I can't say enough to everything they have done over the last 20 plus years to make it possible for assisted opening knives to exist and to allow them to be produced, and it's sometimes their contributions have been overlooked, and they can't be understated. And more on John Wilson, you can see some of the templates here are Lovelace originals. Each month we feature 2 columns from Cutlery Hall of Famer and ABS Hall of Famer J. Bruce Voiles, who's a former editor of both Knives Illustrated and former owner-publisher of Blade Magazine. We're pleased to be able to give Bruce a voice in our publication, so he writes the monthly editorial rather than me, which really never been my thing. And he also contributes a column. Here's the end of the Batson article. And also a column on knife values each month. In this particular case, dealing with German eye brand Carl Schleifer knives. Since knife books have gone the way of the dodo bird, this is really the best way to keep up with knife prices. Each month we have the largest events calendar in the knife industry. Oh, except if you look on our website, knifemagazine.com, the events calendar is free there and more extensive than it is even in here because we only have one page to it. Classified ad section, our selection of current published books. We also sell out-of-print knife books. If there's something you were looking for and don't know where to find it, we probably have it. Jantz Supply has been with us for many years now. They're wonderful people to deal with. And, of course, our back page advertiser for the last, good gosh, 35 years maybe? With Bluegrass Cutlery, who produces Winchester knives and John Primble knives. Anyway, that is the August 2022 edition of Knife Magazine. We're a little late on getting this video done, so it won't be too long before we'll be featuring the September 2022 edition. Hopefully, when it's time to put that video out, I won't have COVID like I did this month. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you coming by. Give us a like, tell your friends, make a comment. And thanks very much for watching. Have a great day.